Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of August 22, 2025. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed, MGT.
I'm Colonel AUC Ogontoye, an infantry officer. This reporting week highlights a clear pattern. Russian forces are combining precision interdiction of Ukraine's defense-industrial complex with steady ground advances across all sectors. The liberation of 6 settlements, Kaladyzy, Alexandro-Sholtino, Katarinovka, Suketskoye, Pankovka, Vladimirovka, Rusin Yar, Vorono, and Novogeorgievka, underscores Moscow's intent to consolidate tactical gains into strategic depth. Heavy Ukrainian losses, particularly of Western-supplied systems, Leopard tanks, M113 APCs, Max Pro and HMMWV vehicles, M777 and NATO standard artillery, highlight Russia's focus on attracting high-value assets that Kyiv cannot easily replace. The destruction of dozens of EW and counter-battery systems suggests a campaign designed to blind Ukrainian formations and erode their drone and artillery counterstrike capacity. Strategically, Ukraine is being forced to defend on multiple fronts, stretching reserves thin, while sustaining industrial and logistical strikes.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel AUC Ogontoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Ogontoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel Ogontoye, to begin, the Ministry of Defense reported 6 precision strike packages over the last week. Can you walk us through the intent and significance of those?
These strikes are not random acts of destruction. They are deliberate deep-fire operations designed to hollow out Ukraine's ability to wage sustained war. By targeting defense industrial enterprises, energy infrastructure, and refineries, Russia is attacking the arteries of Ukrainian combat power. Energy facilities keep production lines alive, refineries fuel armored thrusts, and depots hold the munitions needed for artillery duels. By striking all of these in a synchronized fashion, Russia ensures that the attrition on the front line is mirrored by depletion in the rear. Equally important was the destruction of Sapsan missile depots and long-range UAV infrastructure. That represents preemptive action against weapons that could disrupt Russian depth. And by hitting temporary deployment points of foreign mercenaries and nationalist battalions, Moscow is signaling that no echelon of the Ukrainian defense, from the front line to the rear guard, is immune from precision engagement.
Let's talk about the North Group. They inflicted over 1,100 casualties in Sumy and Kharkiv. What role are they playing in the broader campaign?
The North Group is primarily serving as a fixing force. They engaged multiple mechanized, airborne, ranger, and assault formations over the week. The key here is not just the manpower losses but the breadth of Ukrainian formations tied down. When you destroy 26 artillery pieces, including NATO-caliber guns, and 41 depots, you are preventing Ukrainian units from rotating south or reinforcing critical sectors. This is classic operational doctrine. Use a northern axis to pen, attrit, and drain resources, forcing the enemy to fight where he is weakest. By combining manpower attrition with supply destruction, the North Group ensures Ukraine must commit scarce reserves to protect positions that may not even be decisive terrain.
The West Group liberated Kaladyzy in Donetsk and reported over 1,600 Ukrainian losses. What does that tell us about the weight of effort in this sector?
Kaladyzy is more than a dot on the map. It represents an operational hinge. By seizing it, Russia disrupts Ukrainian defensive geometry in Donetsk. The destruction of 3 Leopard tanks and 19 NATO-provided armored vehicles sends a strong message that Western hardware, even when concentrated, cannot reverse battlefield momentum without sufficient depth in logistics and EW protection. The noteworthy statistic here is the destruction of 39 electronic warfare and counter-battery stations. That is a massive blow to Ukrainian situational awareness. Once EW assets are removed, Ukraine's artillery fire becomes less precise, their drones less survivable, and their ability to track Russian maneuver far weaker. The West Group is effectively peeling away Ukraine's defensive shield while pressing its infantry forward.
The South Group liberated Alexandro Shultino and Katrinovka. What's the importance of those gains?
Both villages anchor Russian control of the Donetsk operational belt. By advancing here, Russia forces Ukrainian mechanized and airmobile brigades into reactive defense. What's striking is the variety of Western vehicles destroyed: M113 APCs, Max Pros, and HMMWVs. These platforms were meant to give Ukraine mobility and resilience, but when they are lost en masse, the psychological and logistical impact is profound. From a doctrinal perspective, this demonstrates that Russia is not simply contesting ground but eroding Ukraine's ability to sustain combined arms defense. Once the mobility advantage of Western vehicles is stripped away, Ukrainian brigades revert to static defense, which is precisely the condition Russia seeks before pressing further into fortified areas.
The Center Group inflicted the heaviest casualties, nearly 2,800 in a week. Why is this sector absorbing so much weight?
The center axis, stretching through Donetsk into Dnipropetrovsk, is the decisive corridor. The liberation of Suketskoye, Pankovka, Vladimirovka, and Rusin Yar represents a deliberate effort to carve through Ukrainian depth. The destruction of U.S.-supplied M113S and Turkish Kirpi armored vehicles is not incidental. It shows Russia targeting both capability and symbolism. This is how Russia applies doctrinal weight, concentrate artillery, mass maneuver formations, and grind down elite Ukrainian brigades, airborne, marine, ranger, that Kiev relies on to stabilize its defense. Once these formations are gutted, Ukraine will struggle to mount effective counterattacks, leaving the corridor open for continued advances.
The East and Dnieper groups also reported gains and significant Ukrainian losses. How do these fit into the wider operational mosaic?
The East Group's liberation of Voronezh and Novogeorgievka is strategically significant because it opens up the Dnipropetrovsk flank. Destroying NATO-caliber artillery and EW stations in this axis further degrades Ukrainian capacity to resist. The Dnieper Group, meanwhile, operates in the Zaporizhia, Kherson sector, a pressure point that constantly forces Ukraine to guard against deeper southern incursions. The neutralization of 46 EW systems and 2 M777 howitzers underscores Russia's focus on silencing Ukrainian long-range precision fires. Together, these groups expand the battlespace dilemmas for Kiev. Ukraine must decide where to commit dwindling reserves, to the east, the south, or the decisive center, knowing that whichever axis they leave under strength risks collapse.
Finally, Russia reports intercepting 25 guided bombs, 11 HIMARS rockets, and 1,500 Ukrainian UAVs. How do these defensive actions sustain momentum?
Air defense is the silent enabler of offensive action. By neutralizing HIMARS salvos and guided bombs, Russia preserves the combat power of its advancing units. Shooting down 1,500 UAVs in a week shows both volume and effectiveness. If Ukrainian drones cannot see the battlefield, their artillery cannot fire effectively, and their commanders are fighting blind. In operational terms, this is how Russia ensures initiative stays firmly in its hands.
What does the August 22nd briefing demonstrate?
This briefing demonstrates Russia's commitment to attritional warfare executed through doctrinal precision, deep strikes against infrastructure, incremental liberation of settlements, and mass attrition of Ukrainian brigades across all sectors. The destruction of Western vehicles and artillery reflects both symbolic and practical erosion of Kiev's warfighting capacity. Strategically, Ukraine faces a compounding dilemma. Heavy casualties in elite brigades reduce its ability to counterattack, while the loss of EW systems and depots diminishes its capacity to defend effectively. Russia is dictating tempo by stretching Ukrainian forces thin across 6 axes, while simultaneously dismantling the industrial and logistical base behind the lines. Unless Ukraine can secure major Western reinforcements quickly, its ability to sustain coherent operations through autumn 2025 will be severely compromised.
Colonel, Thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. Today in Gaza, UN-backed experts have officially confirmed a famine in Gaza City and surrounding areas, where at least 500,000 people are facing starvation, acute malnutrition, and death. Israel is preparing a major offensive to seize control of Gaza City, a move that has drawn condemnation from international bodies and sparked concerns among Palestinians already displaced within the enclave.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive Frontline updates from commanders in theater.